Hello, good evening, and everyone from before and after I say I do. Always a pleasure to come every evening on Friday, 7:30. I'm your host, Pauline Gikang'ah. Yes, and this is a new month, so happy new month. I know the month has gone a few days, but it's a new month when it comes to the series. Last month we finished one on forgiveness in marriage. That was after I say I do. So this month we've dived into before I say I do. And our theme, or what we'll be talking about, is addictive behaviors. And how do I get out? How do you get out? How do we help somebody get out? Our children, our friends, our sisters, our brothers get out of addictive behaviors. And so we'll be having ladies, we'll be having gentlemen come over to just share on addictive behaviors. And this evening, our start of the month, we are going to talk about masturbation. Masturbation, which is a word, that we don't easily mention, even talking about it. And in fact, this evening, my mom was asking me, what are you talking about today? So masturbate, and you should have seen okay, my mom, it's a word that is not yet so many people, young people, and we cannot forget, even in marriage, there are people who are struggling with masturbation. So today we are saying, how do we get out of addictive behaviors? Possibly now that we're talking about before I say I do, maybe before you tie the knot, before you get into that marriage, so that then you'll be out of it. But then again, even those who are married and maybe struggling will also get help. And so I have my guest tonight, Nashami Wangara. Oh God, today I shouldn't I shouldn't mispronounce that name. I was asking her just before. Tell me again. So Nashami. So who is I love her energy. The first time I listened to her, I was like, wow, this girl got energy. Yes. And so Nashami is an author and a youth mentor. She's full of life. And so I can imagine how nice that is to be even a full mentor, a youth mentor. And she leads Assigned Ministries. It's a ministry. Yes, let me allow her to tell us a little bit more about herself. So over to you, Nashami.
Hello, thank you so much, Pauline. It's such an honor. It's such a privilege, and I'm glad. Thank you for having me, and thank you for just sparing this particular Friday that we may just come here and talk. Yes, Nashami Wangara, daughter of one Mr. Francis and Madam Mary Wangara. I am a lover of God, a disciple of Christ Jesus. And yeah, working with young people is my heartbeat. Like I wake up thinking about them. I go about my day thinking about them. I do everything with the youth in mind. And my daily mantra has always been my generation, my mandate. I take it as a mandate that I've been given just to ensure that the young people that come my way, that I get connected to, have their lives ordered and they are mentored and they turn out to be their best. And so, no wonder I will never grow old. Never, ever.
You can never grow. I love that. Your generation, your mandate. Like, you're not going to say, I'll grow old and leave them growing by themselves. You want to help them grow. You want to share with them your life. Absolutely amazing. And that's why you're here. And we were just talking before with Nashami, we started, and we said, it's not something to be proud about, but yet it's something that she says, I must tell the world. I didn't go through it for nothing. And so possibly, let's get there. Tell us, Nashami, about growing up. How was your growing up from childhood?
Well, I grew up in the most amazing family on planet Earth. There is no family like my family. We were, and we still are. My father has 12 children, and I'm the fourth in the family. And from my firstborn brother to the lastborn brother, we are just a family that is full of life and full of energy. So I grew up among such siblings, and it was amazing from childhood, all the games and the sibling rivalry and all manner of stuff. It was just beautiful growing among such a family. And I grew up in Mumias. I am I come from Mumias and I schooled there in my primary school, and then later on went to high school in Mukumu Girls, still in Western Kenya. Sisi ni wale watu that we came to Nairobi when we were in our 20s. We never knew Nairobi. We used to hear about Nairobi. But anyway, yeah, so my growing up was in Western Kenya, and I grew up, I always say this, I was privileged to grow up in a, I would call it a town life, not a city, but a town life and the village life. My dad used to ensure we had a balance of that, because sometimes some people meet us and think, you guys have been raised in Nairobi, you don't know how to live in the village. I always tell them, dare me, give me a djembe, I'll go to the shamba for the whole morning. I mean, I'm used to that. It's not new, you know. So I was glad to have both lives, and my family, my parents, they gave us the best. They ensured we all got an education. Mr. Wangara invested in us, and my mother, of course. They balanced the roles. Dad was the provider, mom was the disciplinarian, and lo and behold, I came out good.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you. I mean, it's really, I like that. So I see then the energy is actually from the family. And I imagine 12 of you, my goodness, that's energy. All right, wonderful. Now we are,
Yeah.
so you say you came to Nairobi when you were already 20. So tell us, we are
Yes.
discussing about masturbation this evening. I mean, just let's dive in and just know what led to that. What would you say got you there?
Okay.
Mm.
Well, my journey begins from somewhere back before I got into the masturbation part of it. At some point in my life, growing up, I think in my early 20s, I was one very sexually active young girl. And I was always involved at any point. I was always involved with somebody. And then what happened at some point, I got to know Jesus. I encountered the saving grace of God. And change had to happen. And change was all rounded, because I wasn't only caught up in sexual activities. I was also into alcoholism and other stuff. So here I am a new believer, and I know that 1, 2, 3, I just have to stop. It was not an easy thing. You don't wake up, I'm born again, and everything is gone. At least for me, it didn't happen like that. So in my many struggles, I remember that time I made a desperate prayer to God. It was very desperate, because I was like, God, if you want me to live for you, you'll have to help me here, because I know myself. I can't keep off this other gender. I can't. So you help me. Just keep them away. Just seclude them from my path until I'm in a position to be around them and I'm not bothered. Now,
So
when I made that prayer,
yeah, let me just take you a little bit for when did you start? When were you first sexually active?
how old was I? Had I turned 18? No, I was 17, just right after high school. Just right after high school. And by the time I was getting born again, I was 24. Yeah. That is a span of almost 7 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So in my desperation, wanting to stop this habit because it does not please God, I think he answered me, because for some reason, you know, when you have contacts like 1, 2, 3, just in case this person is not found, you can always find this one or this one. But it reaches a point, none of them is found. Everyone is busy. I mean, no one is just found. And I was like, did God just answer me? I didn't think he would take me serious. But there I was. No one is finding me. I'm trying to get in touch with all of them. They are unfound. And in the midst of that, I remember, you know, those days when we were beginning to have cell phones, when we had those Nokia 3310 and others.
Yes.
You know, I had my new phone that I had been gifted, and then I lost it. So I'm at a place where I can't get in touch with any one of them. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's see how we adjust to this.
Yes.
Now, that is actually where now the problem came in, because here I am thinking, you know, like, the reason I am sexually active is because these men are following me. That's what I thought. So the men were not there, but deep within me, I was still burning. You know, my system was just wanting, and there's no one. And I remember I'm a Christian, so we can't even go and pursue anyone. Now, that is the time I got myself into masturbation. Because I'm at a place where the body is just on fire, and there's no way I can there's no one, literally, no one to quench the fire. So bingo, I got myself into masturbation. So that is where it started on a wrong footing, because I had thought that men not being around was the answer and the solution of everything. But the problem was with me. It wasn't with them,
Yes.
So I had to take care of me. Instead of taking care of me, I blamed it on them. So they were nowhere, yet here I was still on fire. And that is when, bingo, I get myself into masturbation. And a journey begins. A very tough journey.
Yes.
Tough because of two things. Number one, it is so shameful to even talk about it to anyone, to just tell anyone that I'm struggling with this. It is so shameful. And number two, I mean, the frequency I used to, an addiction, there's a place where you begin something and it's just trial and error, like, let's see what happens here.
Yes.
And with time, you realize that you're getting deeper, you're getting yoked kabisa, you're getting deeper into it. And here I cannot, literally, I would say, I would not be able to function well without indulging. I wouldn't. And it reached a point where it was, by default, at least twice in a day, I would indulge, at least twice a day. Yes. But sometimes it will be more, 3, 4. But by default, early in the morning and before I go to sleep, by default, I would indulge. And it used, from the onset, I never liked it. I never did. And I would tell myself, I wish I would just have sex with a man. I hate this. I don't like this. But then I tell myself, I cannot have sex with a man. It's called fornication. I'm a Christian, So I'm fighting all those thoughts. But I'm like, but there's a fire within. So let's just take care of it as much as we don't like it.
Exactly. Nashami, is it something, had you read about it before? Did you know about it? Did you just experiment and realize, oh, I'm getting pleasure in by myself?
I had not read about it. I knew nothing, but at least given that I had been sexually active before, there are things that used to be done to me. So I was like, okay, let's see if I can do it and see if I can find pleasure. And I realized, oh, it's working. Yeah.
So you continued, and you said from the onset you didn't like it. So how did it progress? How did it progress? So you're saying by this time you had gotten saved, that is why you couldn't go out, and you are still a young girl by this time. So how did you continue on? How was life after that? How long did it take you?
It took me a period of around 4 to 5 years. And of course, it was just between me and me. I mean, no one, even my closest friends, knew about it. I would just silently keep within myself about it. But it was so bad, Pauline. There are times when, by then I was in college. So there are times we are in a lecture hall. The lecturer is trying to teach us something, and everybody is concentrating. People are taking notes and asking questions. Yours truly is not even concentrating. My attention is focused on the lecturer. I can't hear anything he's saying. And the moment I'm focused, my system just starts playing its own tune. And lo and behold, excuse me, sir, I need to use the washrooms. And I go, no, I'm not going to ease myself. I'm going to ease myself. Because I'm in class and my system is just wanting. I go to the washroom, take care of myself, come back to class. There are times that will also happen in church. A pastor is preaching, and the way some of our churches, when the word is being preached and people are excited, some are standing, giving all the amens. Yours truly is doing none of those. I'm just crisscrossing my legs and I'm feeling, oh God, this is too tough. This is too tough. Do I have to look at men and just feel like this? I'll just walk out, go to the washrooms, take care of myself, and come back to the service. Oh God, I hated myself.
You say now, how was that for being a Christian? What was going on in your mind? What were you feeling about it? Yes, you felt bad about it, but you say it actually went until even when you're in church, you could actually masturbate.
It took a toll on me because I wondered, like I was like, before I was a Christian, I never was in this thing. Now I am a Christian, I am caught up in this thing. Do you know, at some point I contemplated letting go the faith. I said, this Christianity thing is messing me instead of doing me good. Because life before Christianity, I had never, ever. And then now, why? Because I'm a Christian, then let me go, let go of this Christianity faith. So it was really a battle in my mind. Like, did I really make the right decision getting born again? Was it a good decision? It's not helping me. That's, those are the thoughts that were coming to my mind. Because who does that? Who goes for prayer, Pauline? You go for prayer and have an amazing time in prayer in your own closet, secluded place. You spend amazing time in prayer. And before you leave your prayer closet, you get to masturbate. Who does that?
Wow, it was too much.
I was like, this Christianity thing is not helping me.
Is that when you realized now I'm actually addicted to this thing?
Yep. It just dawned on me that this thing is a lifestyle. I have allowed it to be a lifestyle because a day cannot go. Sometimes I talk to people struggling in it and they tell me, I want, like, maybe after 2 months, I tell them, yours is better. Mine was worse. Because me, it was by default. Every day I would indulge, like kawaida. Sometimes I make a joke and say, it's like I was on a medicines dosage, 1 times 2 by default. Lakini, the other times once in a while, but 1 times 2, early morning and before I sleep. By every day I would count, no day that I skipped. And I was like, this is bad. It's just bad.
Yeah. So and at that point you realize this is not right, this is not normal, did you?
Yeah. I felt so, I hated myself, of course, and those moments you feel so filthy, like you should not even talk before people. You are a mess. You're bad. Yeah, those were the feelings within me.
You're bad. Within me. How bad did it get? What is that place that you got to? You said that was about 5 years.
For a period of 5 years, yeah.
What is the worst that you remember that it got to?
I think just before, we know we'll get to that, but for it to reach to a point of thinking, we need to stop this, was a time when, because, like, at some point when I was in college, I've never shared this. When I was in college, I had a crush on a certain teacher, one of my lecturers. And so there's a time I stopped going to his lectures. I just stopped because it was trouble. I get into the lecture hall. I would take notes later to copy. So everything he says there, I am not there. And it's so that any other lecture we had with him would be different. So at some point I was like, I won't be going for these lectures. And you're thinking, you're in college to study. You're there to study. That's what brought you there. And you can't go to a lecture. Why? Because of someone you have a crush on, and not just that, because when you're around them, your body can't concentrate. And I was like, young lady, you need to take control of your life. You're losing it.
Wow. At that time, you're still a Christian, going to church, having fellowship. Nope, you didn't have a friend to. Who did you share? Who would you say was the first person you shared with? Because you said for all those years, you didn't share with anybody.
I didn't. One of the reasons, actually, when I was in college that made me just even shut up the more is that I was actually in the leadership of the Christian Union. So I'm a leader. People are looking up to me, Young girls are coming to me. And one more thing, when I joined college, I was a little bit older than most of the students we were with. So they used to look up to me. So they are coming to me, especially from the church. They have issues. It's me they are running to. They want me to help them, to guide them. And here I am going through stuff. So I was like, no one in this institution should even ever know, because I don't know how I will deal with them. I cannot even talk about it to any one of them. So I kept quiet for a long time. But when I reached a point and felt, we need help. I did not rush to talk to somebody, because one thing you have to appreciate, Pauline, you don't rush to anyone with such. You don't just rush to anyone.
Yes.
It's tricky. So this is what the Christian in me chose to do that day. I was like, we were taking a break from college, and I said, God, you and I are going to deal with this thing, and it has to end. It has to end. So what I decided, I said, you know what we are going to do? I'm going to the prayer mountain. And I will not leave that prayer mountain until you have set me free. I am tired. Like, I cannot continue this. I can't. And I remember I took myself to a prayer mountain. And when I got there, the very day I got there, I think God answered me. You know, the way you have gotten, you're trying to settle in, you know, you've booked your room, you've done registration. And the Lord just speaks to my heart and tells me, you don't need prayer. You don't need the prayer mountain. Go back home, find somebody you need to open up. And I'm thinking,
Wow.
I got back and took time to just pray. And like, I was like, unless you tell me who, I am not speaking. This thing, God, do you know how much people respect me? Where people have blessed me in the society, in college, back at home, my mentors,
Back at home. Now that we're mentioning this, did you think of even sharing it with your mom, because you're still under them by this time? Yeah. Is there any outward sign that Nashami was struggling with anything, or were you able to always have a face that never showed you were struggling with anything?
Well, you know, when you would meet me on the outside, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm perfect, the best ever, no issue, nothing, she's doing great. That is that was the outlook. No one would think, no one, there was no trace that I'm struggling with anything. No, I used to pull a strong face, and my smile that lingers will just deceive people that I'm fine, but I wasn't.
But you aren't. Okay.
So when it reached a point that I need to find help, literally, I engaged. I actually, when finally I found peace on who to talk to, I engaged somebody. He was one of my mentors, and I just went to him and told him, I am struggling. It's been a while. I've kept it to myself, and I am tired. I am done struggling. I need help. You help me. How you will do it, I don't know, but I need help.
Wow. You were able to actually say that I'm struggling with masturbation.
You know what happened? I'll just demonstrate it. This is what I did. I went to him and I told him, I need to talk to you, but allow me do something. Please don't tell me no. And he was like, okay. So I did this, literally.
Wow.
I was hiding my face. I didn't want him to see me when I'm speaking it, because it was like, oh no, do I have to say this? Do I have to say the word?
Allow me to ask you this. I know this is very sensitive. How did you get the confidence of going to see your man mentor?
I think, I don't know, because before I chose to see anyone, I told God, because he's the one who told me, go speak out. I told him, you will have to tell me who. I will take time until you tell me who, because I can't trust anyone with this. God, I don't, even everyone that I knew, my mentors, I had female mentors, male mentors, friends, sisters, and everything, but I just couldn't trust anyone. So I was so waiting. Please, Lord, tell me who. So when I found peace to go and talk to him, I said, you know what? Let's just do this.
Yes.
Let's just gather the little strength and courage within and just go and speak.
Wow. Yeah. So now you tell him and you've let it out. So how was his response?
Initially, and I really loved the way he approached it. He just told me up front, he told me, I have never worked with anyone struggling with masturbation, never, ever. But because you have chosen to confide in me, I will walk with you. If I will learn on the way, I will learn. But I'm going to walk with you until you are set free, until this is a thing of the past. That gave me confidence. I was like, I found somebody. Oh, finally.
You did not feel judged.
He never pronounced anything like, you of all the people, how can you be going through that? Of all the things, he embraced me. He didn't judge me.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
Yeah.
wow. So how was that journey like? You know, take us through, how did you begin the journey of stopping?
Well, I remember two things that he told me. He told me, number one, I want us to build a level of accountability where you can tell me anything in line with this that we are working together in. And he told me, because addictions, normally you don't wake up and break free from addictions. Sometimes people start walking out of them and then they fall back. Now, I want you to be updating me on every detail because we are walking this walk together. And I said, yes, sir. I promise I will. Number two thing he told me this. Every habit began with a single act before it became a habit.
Yes, yes.
One day, masturbation, day by day, bingo, became a habit. So even as we pray, this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at your life, look at the things that you do or something that you're interested in. Maybe you're not even doing it, but you're interested in. Now, I want us to start developing that new habit and start learning that new thing that benefits you or makes you happy. And I looked through my life. One of the things I loved, and I still do, I love reading a lot. So what we agreed was, because I was always sure, morning and evening, we are victims. So I said, every evening before I go to sleep, because there was no way you'll masturbate while sitting. I was in a room that had people. I wasn't alone. So I'll do that when I'm covered in my bed sheet, sleeping. So what I will do, I'll get to bed and get hold of my book and start reading. And as I'm reading and enjoying the read, I fall asleep and I wake up in the morning. Oh, I used to be like over the moon, like, goodness Lord, did we just sleep without indulging? And it's morning. It was such a joyous morning to wake up to such things. So now that helped me to start building that the more, just looking around your life and looking at the things that you love and you give them more time so that you have so much that is bringing value to you all around you. But what he did, he intentionally worked with me. He would check on me oftentimes. He would call me. He would send me just an encouragement here and there. And I remember one time at some point, we had tried to walk. I think it was like 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks, we had not indulged. And I was like, man, this thing is working. Let's keep doing it. I'm getting out. And lo and behold, I fell back, and I was so mad at myself. I judged myself so harshly. And I told him, do you think I'm even one that can be helped? It's not working. See, I'm falling back. We have tried and then I'm disappointing you. I'm falling back. But the words that he told me, oh Lord, he told me, listen up. This is what you see. You are seeing the one step that you have fallen back. I am seeing the 10 steps you have taken forward, and I choose to focus on that. We are making progress, girl. Let's keeping on. I found the energy. I said, even if we will trip once, I will focus on the forward and move a day after another. Walk 3 days, fall 1 day. I will wake up and keep walking because my mind is made up. I am getting out of this. And in a span of, I think it was around 7 months.
Yeah.
For 7 months, yeah. And in the span of 7 months, one day I woke up and I tried to look back and I'm thinking, wait a minute, when did we last indulge in masturbation? I thought, like, not last month. It should be the other month. And I'm thinking 2 months. Nashami, 2 months umechapa. My good God, that was just mega for me. Like 2 months clean. And I remember very well, that was in the year 2009. Yeah, 2009. And since then, till 2020, we never slipped back. Never.
Wow. Amazing. So after those months, after you looked back and realized you've gone too far, have you ever had an urge to for those years now?
Interestingly, I think at some point in my walk with God, at some point, I slipped back and actually got myself back into fornication. And I remember there was this gentleman I was with, and this gentleman wanted to take me there, back there, you know. Pauline, you're blessed. You're making me speak things I haven't spoken, and I'm glad.
Oh, God, we thank God. Remember, we prayed at the beginning that God will help you to say what you need to say for anybody watching. Yeah.
So what this man did, actually, that was my, I remember that time when I even had to stop and just stop that lifestyle of fornication again. It's actually that man that made me sober up. What this guy did, of course, he wanted us to indulge in masturbation. I told him, I am coming from very far, my friend. I'm not going that path. That passed. And another time, he had the audacity to buy me a gift. And I'm so excited to open my gift. Opening my gifts, I'm getting some apparatus to assist me in masturbation. Me, hi. Wow. God forbid, Sophia. I said, me, I know where I'm coming from. It's been a tough journey. I can never go back there. I don't want to be caught again. Wow. So that was the near experience to get back there.
Experience. So so he actually, wow, amazing. So during this fornication, you was that time you're definitely much older now, but still in church, yeah.
Yeah.
That time you're still in charge. How did that feel like? Getting into fornication.
It was bad. Oh God. It was bad. It was bad because I fell back, and I think I was caught up there for a period of around 6 months. And in that season, I used, those of, you're like, you know what, God, you and I should just part ways because I am not a good child and I don't deserve even to be yours because I'm not helpable. You've helped me in so many things, yet here I am getting back in things that you've taken me from. And then out there, you're involved with people. I'm already working with young people. They're coming to me with the same issues I am caught up in. I'm supposed to help them, yet I'm caught up in there. And you're thinking, let's just forget this ministry thing because this is fake. What I'm bringing out here is fake. Deep within, I'm just doing stuff, and out here I'm portraying it is all in order. It is not. I tried to quit ministry. I tried. The more I tried, the more people came my way. I keep off, people come my way. They want me to work with them on this and that. That season of that window of fornication, how I stopped it, I just sat myself down, looked at myself in the mirror and told myself, my friend, stop that. Just stop it. You cannot, no, you cannot, this is what I told myself. When you got to know God, yes, you had the struggle in masturbation, and then you quit. So for a good period, you have been celibate. No masturbation, no fornication. Did you develop any problem? Did you have any deficiency? Was it written all over your face that you have deficiency of sex? It was not written there. Why should you behave like you must have it? We are not going to have it. Stop it. And that's how I stopped myself.
And that was it. And you say that has been now a period of how long, you said?
When was that? Good Lord. Around 9 years, going to 10 years.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Wow. And really, I must say here, Nashami, I mean, even for you to be able to share this and just very deep things about yourself, just to help somebody. And of course, the somebody is listening and is probably actually struggling and has struggled for long, or has a friend or a sister or even a child, and they have found out, they're teenage, they're who is doing this. What would you tell that person? They actually want to quit.
Well, I've always believed this, that when you are at a place where you need help, then you can get help. Because I've had cases of people that refer others. Someone calls you and tells you, there's this friend of mine who is struggling in masturbation. Can you work with them? And I'm like, do they want help? Because sometimes it can be out of concern. We know someone is going through that and we wish they were out of it. But the question is, does that person want the help? Because if you want the help, then you are set for it and you can get it. So talking to two people, if it's somebody that you feel they need that help, let it come from them. Because sometimes we push help on people and it backfires.
Wow.
But if
Yeah.
it's somebody who is caught in and wants out, you're thinking, I'm tired of this lifestyle. It is not good. It's just the worst thing ever. I want out. I would give you two things. Number one, don't just rush to anyone and talk to them. Because and it's not necessarily that someone that maybe understands what you're going through, because there are people who maybe who've been there, or maybe they're even professionals in that area, but they will not, I mean, they can come in and sit on the judgment seat and judge you harshly. So it's beyond just somebody being good in that area. It's somebody that you have considered. Don't just be in a rush to go to anyone and say, you know what, help me out, I need help here. Siweni Pro, you are an expert in this, help me. Consider before you rush to anyone. But one thing I believe, when people like Nashami can come out, I know they are professionals. There are people who are certified in such matters. And then there are people like us who have been there, gone through that, done that, and gotten out. We were victims, but now we are talking from the place of victory because we overcame that. And so there are people like me. I'm not the only one. I know there are so many. If you can connect with such a person who has been there, they can walk with you because they will totally understand you. Because sometimes I've had cases of students, because I work a lot with high school students. A student telling you they are caught up and they have tried to get out, and they tell you, I told my mother, and you know, she tells me we pray, and every time we are praying, it's not even ending, Nashami. And my mother told me that I have hardened my heart. I am the problem. And I'm like, oh Lord, I totally feel you. And you know, so because some people would expect you to get out of it very fast. Like, oh, we are working with you. So in 2 months, you'll be done with this. Well, there are those that take days and they're out. There are those that will take even years. So the person that you work with needs to be ready for a journey, because it is a journey. It's not a one-off thing, no. So consider and trust you me, there is help out here for you.
There is help. Wow. Amazing. And I mean, our parents are also listening in, and will listen in even after this. And what I get is, and now that masturbation can actually be addictive and is addictive, then what would you advise parents? Is it something they need to talk about, you know, addictive behaviors that could land them into addiction of that behavior? Is it something that we should talk about?
You know, when I was thinking in that line, I'm glad I'm glad I have examples that I can share. I would pick two cases. A case of a young girl who the mother, you know, when a girl is growing up, she's in high school, and in this generation, parents are so skeptical, like these young kids get into relationships the next day. The next day they are sexually active. The next day they are sick, or they're pregnant, or whatever, you know. And in all that. So this mother was like, I'm glad my daughter is not like that. You know, I've never seen her around any man. She's not walking around boys. She's, you know, if she's not here, she's at Kina Esther's place or whoever's place, that is ladies. And the mother was like, I'm good, I'm fine. Later on to come and realize that her daughter was actually into homosexuality. On the flip side, there is a case. This one I was working with somebody on that. Who it's the mother. God forbid, it's the mother who helped her get into masturbation. Reason being, she told her, I don't want you to get involved with boys. You will get pregnant, and I don't want to be a grandmother at an early age. If the mwili nasumbua here, and she bought her the apparatus, this is what you will use. So the girl is into it, kabisa. And she says, it's my mom who taught me. I even didn't know what to do with them. I didn't know what to use them for. So she had to literally teach me. And I'm thinking, mother, how do you do that? You know, so we are living in a generation where parents are skeptical, and it's understandable. We are fearful. We are not sure what to tell them and how to tell them, you know. But let's face the fact that this is something that many young people are caught up in. So many, both male and female. And so we cannot just brush it off and say, no, my daughter can't, my daughter won't, or no, I will just be praying for her. Yes, it is very important to pray for our children. It is very important. But we need to come to a place where we have a conversation with them. We just talk about it, just a conversation concerning sexuality, concerning addictions. I mean, let's just have a conversation. It will help in a great deal. It will. Because some of them are introduced in it by maybe a friend. And maybe some of them are like Nashami. The moment they begin, they hate it already. But because no one is talking about it, like, okay, fine, let's just keep going on. What if the parent now came in and talked to them? She'll be like, let me just stop this thing. So I think that place of engaging, let's just have a conversation with our children, because we cannot brush it under the carpet. The more we brush it under the carpet, the more disastrous it gets.
The more disaster. Wow. Yeah. Because I mean, I think we just talk a lot more about sex, the opposite sex, But then I hear you right, and we need to talk about, sex, having pleasure with yourself, the masturbation itself, just explaining to them what it actually is. At times it looks such an animal word, but what does it mean? So that then again, they don't get into it without knowing that they're actually finding pleasure by themselves, by just fondling themselves and everything, and even using those instruments which are readily available these days, and with all the peer pressure and everything. So yeah, I think we just can't close our eyes to all this. Wow, amazing. No, I'm curious, and I'm sure our viewers are, Nashami, what made you come out, want to share this? And I know you've written a book, you could possibly talk about it, and what were your fears when you came out?
Well, I remember this. I was in a different forum, and we were just talking about the place of passion and purpose. And one thing that I said in that forum is that when I was pursuing my purpose, that is where the author in me was birthed. And the first book I actually did was sharing my own story. It's called My Story for His Glory. And so the first time I ever opened up was actually in a high school.
Wow.
I was having a session with some girls, and someone asked a question about sexuality, another one asked this, and I was like, I think I know the best way to answer these girls. Let me tell them my story. And I just spoke. The impact that I saw that day, I was like, oh, so people just want somebody whom they will connect with, like who has been there so that they can open up. Okay. And I told myself, okay, I'll try this again. Not so much, but I'll just try it again. And so in a second school and in a third school, I reached a point, I said, you know what, I'm not keeping quiet anymore, because the more I speak, the more young people are being helped. I will not shut up. I will speak and speak and speak. And in the midst of that is when at least it reached a point when the Lord just laid it in my heart to put my story in a book. Of course, it was a battle. Now there I told him, I would rather talk, but not in a book. A book is here. As long as Jesus tarries, this book will be here. Hey, the whole world will read my story. I was like, But after some time, I said, what if the whole world reads it? What if the whole world is helped? That is what was ringing in my mind. Because I have shared, lives have been helped. What if I put it in a book? More lives will be helped. Wow. And bingo, we decided to put it together in a book. Did I have any fears? Yes. I am single. I am not married. I remember one day I went to some interview. And after we were done with the interview, the host asked me a question. He asked me because he was like, Nashami, your story, you put it in a book. Why are you not afraid? Like, what if that shuts off every man out here? They'll be like, aye, this one, that story is all over. Aye, no, I can't. I didn't answer him immediately. I thought through it. And I told him, you know what, my brother? If my speaking out to help many will be the reason I don't get married, I am fine. Because my greatest satisfaction and joy is in fulfilling my purpose, helping people out of stuff. If that is all I will do till I die, I am fine. because
Wow.
I think that realization that could affect in a way. And I thought through it, I said, I will not regret talking. I will not regret putting it in a book. It is in the book, but here we are. We're still talking about it. I am not about to keep quiet. No, I will not. I can't. I will never.
Amazing, amazing. For you, it's purpose first before anything else. You have not, and I mean, I must say, I commend you for not wasting your pain. I mean, for
Amen.
making it gain for the world, for making it gain for young people who are listening and are struggling and realizing. Yeah. So, did you have fear that I mean, what if your parents read this book? Did that cross your mind?
Well, when I was launching that book, they came
Wow.
and they got the copies. And the only thing I did, I gave them a disclaimer and told them, there are things in this book that you even don't know. There are things in this book that you'll be shocked. But disclaimer, everything I've put there is the truth. There is no fakeness. There is no, I mean, it's not fiction, it's real. I went through all that is in there. So when they finally read, because I was so skeptical, I said, oh Lord, I want to hear their review of this book
Yes,
because I
yes.
don't know what they will say. And I remember I talked to my dad, and when we're talking, he told me, you know, I think this explains your passion. It does. Because for you to have the courage to put this down, it's
Wow.
because you love this generation you call your generation. Wow. Oh, I said,
Amazing.
thank you, Papa. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. And what did he say? Like the fact that you went through it and they didn't know. What did what did he feel as a parent?
Well, I will talk this generally. Let's use the word
Yes.
my family.
Yes.
One of them told me this, told me that because there is so much that is in that book that of course we haven't talked about, but there are places where one of them told me, I am sorry that we didn't walk with you that journey. We didn't know you were going through that. We are
Wow.
sorry. And I told him, I take the blame. I just shut down on you people too. So it's not like you pushed me away. I chose to keep it to myself. And another one told me, some of the things you have written in that book, I have been there. I'm actually still in some. So just hearing this from you gives me confidence that I can find help and you will help me. Oh, I was like, thank you, God, you're
Amazing.
beginning with my people.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it all turned out good than I expected.
It all turned out good than you expected. Wow, amazing. So let's I want to ask you because there's somebody in the church and I mean and Christians are listening and we struggle. I mean, I'm a Christian, I'm struggling, I'm in church, I'm in praise and worship. What would you say about church? Then what should church be? Because if I'm in church, I'm struggling. I don't know whether you get my question. I mean, I mean, because then I think so many, maybe even youth in church are struggling. So then what is church for? What is church meant for? Or what is the church not doing? Let me put it that way. What is the church not doing?
The church is doing its best. Let's begin from there. It's doing its best, but I think we can do much more. We can do much more in the sense, you see the way we're having this conversation? We can have, if we can have this conversation in churches, that will be awesome. That will be awesome. Because I have been in places, I've been invited in a church setup and just to speak and to share my story. Literally, you're called and told, you're not coming to preach, you're coming to share your story. And I said, okay. And I just do that. And many, many young people come out and say, Nashami, please help me, walk with me. I am struggling too. I am stuck in this. How can I get out of this? Many, oh my good Lord, so many young people in church are the ones that I have walked with. in church and even in ministry. Some that have been raised in the Christian ways since they were babies, they have been born again for the longest time ever, but they have never found a forum where they can just be open and speak about their issues and not be judged, because that is one of the things we do so much in church. We judge, we point fingers. Like, you're a Christian, how can you do that? By the way, Pauline, that was me before I struggled in masturbation. I used to be so judgmental. I'm wondering, come on, you're a Christian. Why are you telling me you fell into fornication? You took yourself out there. You're the one who decided. Cindio, so why are you saying that? No, you are the one who doesn't want to live right. That was me. But, but nowadays I understand, for somebody to just gather the confidence and courage to come and tell you, I am struggling. Men, those people have gathered all the energy in the world to come and open up. And then they come to you and you judge them or you push them away. No, we go wrong on that. We go wrong.
So we need to have real talk. We need to have real talk.
People should just sit down and engage, because one thing I am talking from the place of struggling with stuff as a single person. I am working with people who are in marriage and they are struggling with masturbation. Someone tells you, I got into it before I was married, I can't get out of it. My husband doesn't satisfy me. My wife doesn't satisfy me. It's all this that brings me pleasure and I am tired. People in marriage are stuck. People not marriage are stuck. We are all in church. We are serving. We are doing stuff. Let's just have these conversations. Yeah, let's just have them. There's nothing, no sugarcoating. Sugarcoating, Let's just speak. Don't come and say, if you're struggling in anything, come we pray. No. Let's just talk about them. If you're caught up in masturbation, if you're caught up in pornography, if you're caught up in homosexuality, because it's there, it's happening.
It's there. And I mean, someone is listening and would ask you, because when you go to the net and just Google masturbation, is like, it's normal, it's okay. It's like, it's not a big deal. So someone will ask you, Nashami, so, but what is why is it wrong? What would you tell that person?
I would answer it in 2 dimensions. Number one, as a Christian, and number two, just as a human being. But let me put my emphasis actually on just as a normal human being. The place of masturbation is to give you pleasure.
Yes.
And when you get that pleasure, there is a level that you reach in, is it called ecstasy? Yes, ecstasy. There's a level you reach when you are taking care of yourself. The reason I mentioned about people in marriage that are struggling, it is because their struggle is what? When they do it on themselves, they get to levels unthought of. When their spouse comes to them, they get nowhere. Now that is a problem. That is a marriage being tampered, So if you will say, it's fine, I'm just having fun, I'm just taking care of me, it is, at the end of the day, there are effects. It's not something that when you say like, let me do this before I get married. When I become a wife or a husband, I will quit. My friend, an addiction is an addiction. You don't wake up and say, okay, now we are wives, let's leave. I know of people, Pauline, and I'll just talk it as it is. I know of people who get intimate with their spouses, and after the moment of intimacy, they go to the bathroom and take care of themselves. It is that bad. And as a Christian, young people think that the Bible says, let's not fornicate. It doesn't say, let's not masturbate. It's not written anywhere in the Bible. But look at it this way. What is fornication? It is two opposite sex coming together for pleasure and for getting to those levels. What is masturbation? It is you helping yourself to get to those levels. So the same effect that fornication has is the same effect that masturbation has. So don't say that because I'm not getting involved with that person, I'm safe. My friend, the level of enjoyment that you're getting, so you're all just involved in sexual sin. Masturbation is sexual sin.
It's sexual sin. Wow. Sex is for marriage.
Sex is for marriage.
Wow, amazing. Wow, and the time moves so fast. I'm just about to tell you to give your parting shot. And like I said earlier, our emphasis are on before I say I do. So I want you also, as you just give your parting shot, to talk to that young man, young lady, And maybe to talk to that parent. I know we've talked about how we need, as parents, we need to talk about it, but just know how, to those people who are listening, just to hear it from you. Yeah, it took too long. It took you quite some years, like you mentioned. It was quite a long time. But then, what would you tell them to? Because maybe they are feeling like, my goodness, it's taken me. Can I really get out of it? In your parting shot, what would you tell all those people who are listening now and will listen later?
Well, it's not about the duration. To some, it's been years. I have worked with somebody who has been caught up in masturbation for 15 years. So there are people who it's taken long. There are people who it's taken even a month only, and they feel, I want out of this. So it's not in the duration. It's in the willingness to want out. And like I said earlier, people have been caught up in it. People have come out. So you're not an exception. If you want help, you will find help. But as a single person that is not married, remember, the things you're getting yourself in right now, the addictions you're getting caught up in right now could affect you even in marriage. So don't try and separate the two and say, this is for me as a single person, then this will be me as a married person. Know that addictions, if they're not dealt with, we transit with them. I don't know how old we can get when we are struggling with such, but as long as, so we will transition with that. So be on the look. Don't think that you will deal with this as a single person, that masturbation is for single people. In marriage, there's no masturbation. No, it is real and it is happening. But for a parent, for example, maybe you have noticed, maybe your child has come to you and just opened up to you and told you, I'm struggling here, mom, dad, I need help. Of course, you might feel not able to work with your child. You're feeling like, I wish I worked with them, but I'm so blank, I even don't know what to tell them. If you are at such a place and you really don't know which way out, reach out to some of us. We will come in and we'll just work with them, because we are one big community, helping one child at a time, one teenager at a time. It's our responsibility. It's a mandate. So don't struggle wondering which way. Look for somebody, look for a professional, look for someone who's walked the journey. Just find someone that you can just bring that person and your child to a place where they can walk together and your child will be free. But when all is said and done, people struggle with stuff. People go through crazy things. People are addicted to crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But one thing I've always said, the reason why we need you on the other side, on the victory side, is because what you have overcome, you have authority there. It's like you're in charge. You can call the shots. That is why we need you to get on the other side, and you will definitely get there. And once you get on the other side, take it from me, people will come your way struggling with what you struggled with before, and you'll be the best placed person to work with them. So your victory is not just for you per se, but it is for another and another and another.
Yeah. Wow, amazing. Indeed, a parting shot. I mean, very powerful. Thank you very much, Nashami, for sharing your life, just as it is. The way we are told by God, just come as you are. You have come to us just as you are, not as a victim, but now as a victor. And yes, and like she has said, she's given herself to work with anybody struggling, any child who is struggling, parents you've had. And definitely I'll share her number. I will also share her book as well on our page. And yeah, so it's always a joy to come to you every Friday. And as we continue with this month of before I say I do on addictive behaviors, we look forward to seeing you next Friday and the next, as we continue on the month. So I've been your host, Pauline Gikang'ah. Looking forward to meet you next time. As from now, me and Nashami, we say bye-bye and see you next week. Bye-bye and God bless you.